Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics That's Now Classic. This is episode number 779, Doubleshot number 673. Two X-Men trades. First up, it is X-Men Kitty Pryde-Shadow and Flame. Collecting this trade collects the 5-issue miniseries written by Akira Yoshida, artwork by Paul Smith. Yeah, this is actually Kitty Pryde's second miniseries she's had of her own. The first one was the Kitty Pryde Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series, solo one. She did have one other one besides these two, and that was Wolverine and Shadowcat, which this particular miniseries does reference, though they only have editorial notes, but yeah. Mostly put, Kitty Pryde is invited to Japan by some organizations. They don't clearly define exactly what they are, and she's there to investigate the whole cult of destiny thing. And it turns these people are actually followers of the villain Orgon, who is the main villain of the Wolverine Shadowcat miniseries in the 80s. Yeah, and this I think was his first appearance in the miniseries. Of course, after this, he did eventually return for the Death Wolverine miniseries that came out in 2014. This miniseries came out in 2005. Yep. The trade itself came out in 2006. And I gotta say, this is actually a really good miniseries. At one point, when she meets him, instead of basically taking vengeance for their master's death, they ask her to become the leader. Yep. And also, it involves, the story of this miniseries also involves her pet dragon, Lockhead. This guy and this dragon here who he meets, and they sort of become mates, and they go fly off. Lockhead himself does eventually return in the pages of Wolverine and the X-Men, but yeah, this is sort of a good send-off for him. And this is roughly like 1 year after the return of Colossus. Yep. I gotta say, great miniseries. I even love the fact that, even though some of these characters speak English, they refer to the Japanese characters refer to each other in honorifics. I thought that was a really nice touch for the writer of this series. I'm gonna give this one a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. Next up, it is X-Men Vignetties, Volume 2, collecting backup stories from Classic X-Men, volumes issues 1425. Those of you curious though, what was the Classic X-Men series? It was essentially put a reprint series that did have backup stories, which are original stories. This is just basically a collection of those 10 backup stories. They're not very long. They're only about 10 pages long. I think so. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Each story is roughly 10 pages long. And these are the three writers for these stories. The Chris Claremont, not surprising because he was the writer of Kenny X at this point. Joe Duffy, and Ann Nocenti. All the artists for every single issue here is done by Joel Bolton. And yeah, you can definitely tell it's 80s style artwork because, well, the way it's drawn, and it's really, really good. Mostly put for these particular stories, these are essentially put stories that kind of loosely fill in the gap between issues. That's mainly put the whole point of this miniseries. I'm gonna check on something here. Like they even shows like the first story in here is all about how Leandra got. It explains kind of her backstory in a way of how she got to Earth. Yeah, it shows her journey to Earth. That's mainly what these stories are, what the story is. And there's even a story focused on Nightcrawler, which I thought was really nice. There's a few stories focused on Wolverine here. The final story is featuring this. Yeah, and there's also a story focused on Storm. Let's see. There's one focused on the second one is basically the origin of the Starjammers. Yeah, that's how they came together. 16 is basically a love story. It's basically how Banshee met the woman who later became the mother of his only child. those don't know who she is, she's been known the character Siren, Banshee, and Morgana. I think that's how I pronounce the character's name. Yeah, basically she's mythological Banshee. Yeah, his daughter from the Peter David X Factor series. This story is basically how her parents first met. And in case you're wondering, they never married. Nope. And Block Time Cassidy, yeah, he's still somewhat of a jerk like he was in this series too. And the whole story is set in Ireland. Yeah, it's a great little love story, and I appreciate the way they're doing it. 17 is basically Jean Grey running to Mesmero and doing whatever. Yeah, it's a weird story. It really has nothing to do with anything. 18 is another Jean Grey story, her in the woods with Wolverine. Yeah, it's just a camping story. 19 is basically a story with the awesome Magneto. Yep. And in the 80s, he kind of, well, this is kind of how he dressed in the 80s. Yeah, it was really weird. Yeah, gone was the classic Jack Kirby costume he's known for wearing. Instead, at times he wore this, or he wore this costume with a big M on it. Yeah, that was the thing with him. It's like Chris Claremont tried to do so much different with him that he still wrote him a really awesome character. But given these weird outfits was very odd. There's a dream sequence for Storm in issue 20. Yeah. If you're wondering how Storm looked originally, when the Chris Claremont era first started, yeah, this is the costume she wore from the moment she debuted up until around the mid-80s, where she decided to turn her hair into a mohawk. But when she did that, Kitty Pryde called her a monster. Really? She turned her hair into a mohawk. As a matter of fact, she actually did it very recently in the pages of Wolverine the X-Men, though in the original thing she did it herself, while in Wolverine the X-Men, Wolverine did it. Now the reason why he had to do that was this was coming right after her marriage was annulled after events of AVX. Yeah, I still don't get why in the world the marriage was annulled. 21 is focused on Colossus in the Savage Land. Yeah, just adventure with him in the Savage Land falling in love with two women at the same time. 23 is a Nightcrawler story. It's a kind of like a shipwreck style story with him. It's kind of like an Indiana Jones type of story. It's really nice. 24 is basically kind of a, well, mild setup for the classic Dark Phoenix saga, which involved the Hellfire Club. Yeah, that's really the whole point of this little story. It just set up for that. It's really a backdoor pilot to that. The final story is just Wolverine doing a mission in Canada and going hunting a bear. These are by far really good stories, and I highly recommend them. I'm gonna give this book a 10 out of 10 because the stories here are just pure classic, and I highly recommend it. Though when the series became X-Men Classic, they stopped doing new stories. I don't know why, but they did. Yeah, they did. I've never figured out why they just did. It's really weird. Yeah. But that's really it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is going to be episode number 780. Yes, 780. Where I'm going to review an X-Men trade and a trade from a series I have never reviewed before, as far as I know. Yeah, as far as I know, I've never reviewed it before. But you'll find out what these are in the next episode, okay? But we'll see you there. Bye.